Yeah, so let me just share with you guys just a couple of things. So you guys probably are aware that we have how many more sermons we have in Exodus? 2? We have 3. 2. 2 sermons left in Exodus, and so what that means is we have
that is crazy.
It is, yeah. It is crazy. So
sermons.
we've got a new series that's beginning for us in a little bit, and that series is entitled "What is the Gospel?" It's going to be a 5-week series where we're going to just look at different aspects of the gospel, and we wanted really that series to be really applicational and very interactive. It's a 5-week series that's coming, and it'll be we're going to hit that in August. I think you have a couple more weeks in Exodus, and then we have the last couple weeks in July. We have a couple other things planned, but then beginning in August, we're going to begin that series on what is the gospel. And we were always planning on doing something a little unique during that series, and we weren't sure if we were going to be able to do what we were planning because of all the pandemic and the COVID stuff, but it looks like we're going to be able to do it because we've been in person here and things are growing. And so, let me share with you.
We're going to do interpretive dances.
Interpretive dances for each, instead of
on Wednesday nights through that series.
Yeah.
So that's not right.
That's not. I don't know. That's not quite it. Not exactly. So what we're going to do? Let me just share with you what the plan was, because what the plan was is what we're going to do. So the plan was this: that during this 5-week series, we would shift out of our normal Wednesday night stuff, our men's and ladies Bible study, youth group, and all that stuff. We would shift out of our normal Wednesday night fellowship and move for those 5 weeks to small groups and kind of nudge everyone into small groups for those 5 weeks to be kind of as applicational and as interactive as we can with that series. We're going to expand the small groups a little bit to accommodate everyone. And so we weren't sure if we were going to be able to do that, but it looks like we are going to be able to do that. And so we want to, what we're going to do as we begin August and start into this series on what is the gospel, we're going to nudge all of you into these small groups for this 5-week series. Now, we don't want to force any of you guys to do anything you're uncomfortable with, and so we have 3 different types of small groups that are going to be available for you that should meet any of your needs. One of those groups is going to be a Zoom-based small group, so if you're still uncomfortable being around people, that's totally fine. We're going to have a Zoom-based small group for you that's going to meet sometime during the week. The details of that are yet to be completely determined, but that's going to be one option for you. The next option for you is going to be Friday night, Friday evening, like we've been doing here for a little while, the Friday evening groups. So that's going to be an option for you as well. But for those of you who maybe don't want to go out at night because you have kids or something like that, and you're looking for something the whole family can do, we're also going to provide a third type of small group, and that's going to be on the weekend, during the day, where a family could come if they wanted to. So all 3 of those options are going to be available for you during this 5-week session. So what's going to happen is we're going to just have sign-ups for you on Sundays. We'll have some of the hospitality team out there with some clipboards on Sunday where you're going to be able to sign up for whichever one you want so that we can begin to organize people appropriately as August comes and get people into these small groups. One of the additional things that we have is we have these books, and Dan will talk a little bit more about them, but we have these books entitled What is the Gospel? That? They probably can't.
Here, hold on. Should I bring it over to them?
No, it's all right. It's entitled
Then they won't see. Then if I did that, they might see that I'm not wearing any shoes.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. What is the Gospel by Greg Gilbert. And so this book, it does help. It gives a helpful outline, a bit of the outline that we're going to be working with as we walk through that 5-week preaching series on what is the gospel. And so these books we want to make available for you. So when you sign up for the type of small group you'd like, we also want to know how many of these books you'd like. If you or your spouse or if you alone, whoever it is, we want to know how many of these books you'd like so that we can get these books and have for you. So it's not going to be a book study. We're not going to walk through this book together. That's not what's happening here. This just merely helps give you a little bit of the outline of what's going on. And so if you would like to go through them, we're reading through them, have read through them, and are reading through them. And it's going to be helpful to add to that outline. That's available for you as well if you want to be a part of that as well. And so what that means is While that's exciting, I know what I'm about to say may be a bit discouraging, but what that means is, we're gonna pause our Wednesday night live stream. We're gonna pause these right now through the end of July as we gear up for those small groups. We want to really kind of nudge everyone towards that, and then we're going to do that for that 5-week series. And after that 5-week series, we'll reevaluate and see what the Wednesday nights are going to look like going forward. So that's what is happening. That's the answer to what is happening. But we want to give you a little bit more. And why is it that we're doing that? Why did we choose it? We've been planning this since last year, and put this on the schedule earlier this year in January and February as we were looking through our preaching schedule. So we've been planning this for a while. So that's what we're doing. The question, why are we doing that? I'll let you answer. Why is it that we chose to do it this way?
So I mean, I've had it on my radar to do just a little series on what is the gospel for a while. I think because I think we would be surprised, you would be surprised, maybe you're sitting there and thinking, I already know the gospel. Well, first of all, we all need to understand the gospel better, and it's good every so often to come back to the basics. Yes. But I think you'd be surprised at how many Christians you would talk to, and I've been surprised at how many Christians I've talked to and asked what is the gospel, and they've had a very difficult time reiterating it to me. So I was struck, and I've been repeatedly struck with the need just to reinforce just these very important realities, the things that we are supposed to be believing as Christians and sharing as Christians. What is the gospel? And so that's just kind of the heart of where this is coming from. And then, I really I'm eager to use this series as an opportunity just to really drive this home as much as possible to our church, so that we can be effective communicators of the gospel and applying it to our own lives. And so to that end, I would love for our whole church, honestly, to be reading through this book together. There are parts of this book that are going to form the skeleton of our sermon series. So you're going to have there's going to be an intro sermon and then a sermon on just God, man, Christ response. Those 4 sermons, just walking through the gospel. I would love for our churches to be reading through this at the same time, and then I would love for us to have those small group times, because small group times are just much more conducive to application and just kind of working these things through in our lives. And so I would love to have as much of the church, honestly, as possible involved in these small groups. Like you said, in this age, I don't want to force anyone to do anything they're uncomfortable with health-wise, which is why I'm glad we're able to provide the live stream or the Zoom group. But I would just love for as many as possible to be involved in this. So I know that a lot of you who are listening are involved in small groups already. I'm so thankful for that, and I just would ask you to press on into these small groups, and then just encourage as many as possible in our church to be involved in these small groups. I also just am increasingly, to be honest with you, I'm increasingly becoming more and more aware of the benefit of small groups in the life of the church. These small groups really do provide an opportunity for much more increased accountability in people's lives. They provide just real opportunities for service and just loving one another in the church, that for people who are just not sure what in the world to do when we keep telling them to serve the church from the pulpit. They just provide so many good opportunities that way. And so I increasingly, even as I evaluate, we've talked about the pillars. What do we have to? What do we do to be faithful to the church? We talk about prayer, and we talk about the Word of God, and we talk about fellowship, and we talk about missions. So small groups kind of accomplish all of this at the same time. A small group can be on mission together as they kind of eventually reach out into the community. But of course, the small group provides a weekly opportunity for prayer and Bible as we reinforce the sermon and think about that more deeply together, and of course fellowship. So it's just a great way to accomplish so much. So I just would commend this to you. I'm eager to kind of to have our church even just have for a brief season, as much as is possible, just kind of in regular fellowship and accountability through small groups. But also, I'm eager to kind of reinforce what is the gospel as much as is possible. So yes, I think that's going to take a little bit of planning over the month of July, which is one reason we're going to break this, because we want to just encourage that from the pulpit, get signups, be aware of how many books we need to order and all this stuff. So that's where we're headed.
Yep, and just so for those of you who maybe have never been part of a small group before, don't know what that is, we just want to give you, let me give you just a little bit of an accurate picture of what that looks like so you're aware. These small groups are very relational. They're meant to be very relational. You're going to have time, if you remember, like when we were doing our video sermons, video services, at the end we would have just a couple of discussion questions, something for you just to think through and discuss kind of amongst yourselves. When we gather in small groups, all we're going to do is that. We want to spend 20 to 30 minutes just maybe having a little discussion about those questions, answering some questions that relate to the sermon that we heard the week before, and then spend an additional 20 minutes or so just sharing with one another some prayer needs that we have and praying for one another. The goal is to be extremely relational, spend time in prayer, have great discussion about the gospel, because that's what fellowship is. And so that's the goal. They're meant to be relational. So that means if you've got kids, and it's okay if you have kids, and if you need to pop out a little early, pop in, pop out, that's okay. If you whatever the needs be, these are meant to be very relational and very interactional. It's not you're not going to come and sit down and have someone teach to you for an hour like we are doing right now over the live stream. That's not what's happening. This is conversational, applicational, interactive, and it's meant to encourage your soul, help to hold you accountable. That's the goal of these small groups. That's what they kind of look like. And so we really want to nudge you all into that. We tried to provide an option for everyone. Something on the weekend, something on an evening, and something via Zoom.
And if we have to add more, we'll seek to add more.
If we have to add more, we want to add more, and so we just want to really we're excited about that, and we want to get you guys excited about that. So we're going to make this announcement again on Sunday, probably not as in depth.
So at that point, like coming on Sundays is when people who might not already be in a small group, can sign up. That's correct. They can sign up and give their preference as far as like what time or day they'd like, as well as make us aware if they'd like one of these books.
Yep, exactly.
Yes. Okay.
Same thing for you guys. So you would just you are aware of that. You're going to come. You're aware that you're going to come on Sunday knowing that. Which is exciting. You guys get the heads up. You can start to share that news if you'd like. We'll make this announcement again on Sunday, and then after the end of the service, probably we'll have clipboards out with the hospitality team. They'll be able to share this information, or they'll be able to sign you up for that, and we'll begin to build that. And we are headed towards August, the beginning of August, for this series, and for those small groups to launch. And we're really excited about the opportunity that we're going to get from this season and from this upcoming series.
Yeah. So and honestly, just like we're a family. This church, we're a family as a church. So even you guys know where we're headed now. Like we're about to finish Exodus. As a family, we just spent time together in Exodus. The next thing we're going to move into is a time really trying to better understand, solidify the gospel in our own lives and just in our church as a whole. And so you can be praying that way. Like God just help our family. Just uses as a time to make us all understand, know, be able to articulate the gospel well, because we need to be able to do that as a church. That's a way you can be praying for our church, your family.
Absolutely.